Antonio Conte, the new man at Chelsea's helm, a popular and well-decorated player and a coach who over the last 5 years has known only success. We've heard of his reputation and we've seen his CV, but what sort of man and more importantly what sort of coach is on his way to the bridge this summer?
He's a great coach. I mean, it's done so well in Italy.
He's a fighter, he's a warrior.
He's a total manager, and I think that's what Chelsea are getting.
Very strong ideas. He's very determined.
Always wears his heart on his sleeves.
This is the job he wanted. Make no doubt about that.
People will see how much he cares.
The post of Chelsea coach is the 6th club job in Antonio Conte's career. The path to it has been one seen all too infrequently in this country, that of the successful player turned boss, dropping down the leagues to cut his managerial teeth before moving back up to the very top. The Juventus years are well documented. What went before helped make them possible. Either side of his first coaching role at Arezzo and a brief turbulent spell in charge of Atalanta, Conte led both Bari and Siena to promotion from Serie B to Serie A. Only then did he return to the big time. To begin with, though, one should delve a little deeper into the past. It's no surprise that Conte the coach embodies all the qualities of Conte the player. The same traits have emerged as he's moved from team kit to sharp suit. As in management some years later, he really made his name as a player in the 1990s at Juventus. They won Serie A 5 times with him at the heart of their midfield, and they were champions of Europe too.
We were together at Juventus for 4 years, and then for the last couple of years I was captain, and then it was the vice captain, so we had a very close relationship, and then he took over when I left and he became a great captain for Juventus. Something that you need is this never give up sort of attitude, and you need to be able to inspire your teammates. Technically he was good, but he wasn't the most gifted player, so he had to work even harder.
He didn't have the ability that some of his Juventus teammates had, the likes of Zidane, all those kind of world greats, if you like. He made the difference, by running his heart out every game.
He was a fighter and he wanted to win, but more importantly, he was very keen on preparing himself to put himself in that situation to be able to win all the games. So I was working really hard in training. I was very focused.
And that's why he became a captain for Juventus, an emblem for Juventus, and he'll expect as the very minimum for his players, regardless of who they are, to do the same.
So thankfully, Chelsea's new coach favours substance over style. Work, passion, courage, leadership, hallmarks of Conte the player that remained once he'd become a coach. And they're also the very same qualities that Chelsea displayed in the spring of 2015 en route to the title, and the same qualities that were in much shorter supply during that title's defence. So how exactly will he invigorate the blue squad, and how quickly can he do it?
He expects players to leave the pitch after the end of every game soaked in sweat. His motto at Juventus was eat grass. He wants you to eat every single blade of grass, cover every inch of ground on that football pitch, leave it all out there. That's just who he is.
In a way, he's similar to Chelsea, and I'm sure he will find a way to handle the situation. Discipline is one very important quality that every group, every organization has to have.
He's known as the Italian Mourinho. What he expects from his players on the training ground is 100% commitment. He doesn't care for reputations. It doesn't matter what the name of your shirt is. You're only as good as your last game, your last training session. He is a great communicator, and that's where a lot of his ability to inspire and motivate comes from.
The football manager, at the end of the day, is a salesman. You've got your own philosophy and you need to sell it to the players and make them believe that it is their philosophy and not yours. And you need them to want to do it more than you do. So I'm sure that he will explain what he wants and he will inspire the players to do it in the best possible way. And he will remind everybody week in, week out what happened the season before. And that will be a way to stimulate and to motivate all the players.
He is known as a martello in Italian, which is a hammer. He just bangs, bangs, bangs away at you. All he's trying to do is get your attention so that you take in those 5 minutes the information that he needs you to take in. And I think a lot of his players are so behind him because what he tells them turns out then to be true. You hear what he says about his own approach to his work. You know, it's not enough to be good just tactically. It's not enough just to be good motivation-wise. It's not enough to just be good when it comes to managing relationships with people upstairs, people in the press room. You have to be good at everything. He's a total manager, and I think that's what Chelsea are getting.
Now, of course, comes a word that many new bosses tend to use in the early days of a regime: transition. Clearly, this summer, arguably more than most, if not all of those that have gone before, it's surely a justifiable term when it comes to Chelsea. Or is it?
He will want to win right from the get-go. He will be looking to win the title, to take this challenge. I think that's exactly what Chelsea want, and it's probably exactly what they need.
I can talk about my experience. I think what was important for me was to go there and to go not just doing everything as I used to do in Italy, but adapting to the circumstances, adapting to the people over there, to the culture, and gave me an extra advantage in in speeding up my integration. I believe that for Antonio it will be very much the same. He will have to obviously bring his own ideas, but he will have to obviously understand the environment where he's working and try to get into it the quickest he can.
People often talking about transitional periods for clubs, and they say a transitional season. Sadly, it's usually not a transitional season, it's a transitional couple of seasons. If you look what's happened with Manchester City and Manchester United, particularly after Sir Alex Ferguson left, it takes a good deal of time.
It'll take him a fair old while to get used to the style of football, although I'm sure he's had his handle on watching Chelsea since it's been announced. So, he'll have plenty of experience of the players that are involved, because he would have played against them perhaps in his Juventus days as a coach, or perhaps even as the Italy manager playing against other countries.
I think he's clever, and I'm sure that he's spoken to people in order to understand better what it is required in this country in order to be a successful manager. There is a history at the club with managers coming from the continent, so with a slightly different mentality, and I think that things have been, have worked out very well with the combination of the British spirit that you are required in this country, but also from a tactical point of view, trying to be smart in your position, trying to read the game better in your position. And I'm sure that Antonio will bring that to the table.
The parallels between Conte's last club job and his latest are clear. When he took over Juventus in 2011, the old lady was rather dragging her heels. She'd finished 7th not once, but twice. A doubly gross underachievement for a club of such standing, and the incoming Conte told them so. The revival was instant, and so began a string of titles that remains unbroken to this day. Juve's latest triumph under Conte's replacement, Max Allegri, makes it 5 on the spin. But the first 3 came in Conte's spell, and each was informative in its own way. The champions of 2012 secured 84 points and were built on a famous and famously tight defence. They conceded just 20 goals in the whole league season, but far more impressively, they went the whole campaign unbeaten, a feat never before achieved in a 38-game Italian campaign. 2013's league triumph was achieved with 87 points. At the back, there were 19 more clean sheets, and going forward, besides joint top scorers, amassed only 10 league goals each, which tells you everything you need to know about the team ethic that managers so crave. Plenty of goals, but shared around, much like the 2005 Chelsea side. And how did Conte's Juve follow up their back-to-back titles? With a third, and a record-breaking one at that. They won every single home game en route to glory in 2014, and they won 33 of their 38 league games overall, finishing up with a staggering points haul of 102, an unprecedented feat not just in Italian football, but amongst all the major European leagues. So he's very much a boss in form, if such a thing is possible, but this is a new challenge in a new league and a new country. Other coaches who've been successful in leagues that are arguably less competitive than England have found it tougher than expected, especially at first. The likes of Jurgen Klopp and Louis van Gaal have both admitted as much. Next in line to learn are Pep Guardiola and Antonio Conte.
He's, in some respects, perfect for the Premier League, perfect for the Premier League in 2016-17.
The competition will be incredibly tough with the likes of Klopp, Guardiola, Mourinho. So there will be a few managers out there happy to make his life impossible.
When it comes to game time and the specifics of shape and tactics, the canvas seems pretty blank right now. All options are open, especially given the potential summer churn of personnel. People are making presumptions about three at the back, and that's something that we may or may not see, but there are certain things that are guaranteed.
You can identify his teams because they play with humility, they play with pride, they work really hard, they play with this controlled aggression, and is tactically very, very capable. For example, when he joined Juventus, he came from a club where he was playing 4-2-4, and he wanted to do the same at Juventus, but then with Pirlo he realised that he had to adjust the system to accommodate huge qualities that a player like Pirlo could offer to the team.
He's played about 7 or 8 different systems that I've spotted over the years, but he's very much a 3-5-2 man at heart. But I suspect that was because he had 3 particular players in his team when he was playing with Juventus. Whether he'll do that when he's England or not, I'm not sure.
It's just a matter for Antonio to find the right combination between the Italian style and the Italian methodology and what is required in this country. A bit like what Ranieri did. First time round at Chelsea, I don't think he got everything right, but then a few years later at Leicester, he managed, he became a more complete manager and he found the right strategy.
However they play and whoever they play with, as a team and as individuals, Chelsea have lost some form. The new gaffer, however, is on quite a roll. The last 5 years have brought him and his sides nothing but success. The burning question is, can he bring his hot streak to the bridge?
Great CV, a great experience at top level, and someone who can take this club forward.
I think he'll surprise people. We'll get to see Chelsea back competing.
Only the results and what is going to come out that it will tell us whether it's the right thing or not. But I really hope that it will work well for Antonio.
I don't think he will put up an act to impress the fans. He will be himself, and he's very passionate. And he's a fighter, he's a warrior. So it will be shown. That people will see how much he cares.